Hey there, everybody. Just wanted to say, we're dropping a podcast today. But if you can't get enough of the board game snobs, check on Sporadically Bored, their newest podcast, starring us, Gabby and Jerry. Oh, yeah. Sporadically Bored. Check them out. And now for our regularly scheduled podcast.
Welcome to the Board Game Snobs podcast. Critically harsh reviews with a touch of class.
Go.
Hey! Hello, friends, and welcome to the Board Game Snob podcast. With us here in the studios is myself, the star of the show, Jerry, and with myself,
All of you listening.
are you?
It's as if you're here with us.
Yes, I feel like our listeners are here with us.
They are.
I think of their needs,
In spirits,
their wants,
their desires.
and their deepest desires.
Deepest desires.
What is your deepest desires? Give me your top. This is our top 10 deepest desires.
Top
Go.
10 deepest desires?
Go.
Number one,
With Gabi, our host, going
Love.
first. What? Love. What's that got to do with it?
peace on earth. And goodwill towards all men.
You remember when they used to have those pretentious was it like Miss Universe or Miss USA? Did they
Yes.
not advertise? Do they still show those on TV?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's America, Miss Universe. I think those are like the top two.
Yeah, I don't understand Miss Universe.
Miss
thing.
Oklahoma is just like count their teeth.
How
Whoever
dare
has
you?
those wins.
How dare you? Okay, right there. I'm about to. Okay.
Oh, what?
Oh,
you've never derided Texans before?
Well, y'all can't drive. All right, fun fact. Number one, Texans are probably the worst drivers.
How is that fun?
It's not. The only
Okay, well, then you just said fun fact.
It's a fun fact for those who don't have to drive around you. The only other place I've been that had worse drivers was Baltimore, Maryland. Number two, do you know that Oklahoma, for which you just derided, where the wind comes sweeping down?
The planes?
Yes, that place, those planes have produced more astronauts than any other state. Oklahoma.
I know. I'm a Oklahoma born and bred.
Well, yeah, but why are you knocking Oklahoma?
Because I live in Texas.
We have beautiful women there.
I go wherever.
Wait a minute.
I go whichever way the wind blows.
Not what'd you say, Enrique?
That's debatable. It's like a 50-50.
That's
not
nice.
right.
So Enrique just insulted
Busted.
half of all Oklahomans.
Wow.
If I thought that we had
What was the other half? The beautiful people?
the A listener,
I'm not,
said 50-50.
I'm not insulted. Does that make me beautiful?
I'm just
Can
saying.
I just pick a side? I feel uninsulted.
If
Uninsulted.
Oklahomans had access
lot
to
that's more
high-speed
said.
internet and thus listen to our podcast, perhaps they would be offended. But right now, I'm not worried about losing the one listener we probably have in my home state.
Send this for me, say. We've been insulted. Stop.
That's not. I just realized that was a telegraph there for a second. It took me a second. This is a podcast that's about board games and other things. Gabi's with us.
Card games, even.
I'm Jerry, and Enrique, our temp. What are you drinking, Enrique? Coke. Okay.
Yes.
The beverage.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, some of our listeners leave rough lives, so you
I was
never
gonna
know.
say, like, how did I make Coke
Cocaine in liquid form?
Liquid form.
What is that? That's called Four
It's
Loki.
milk.
That's what the kids are all drinking, isn't it? That Four Loki or.
Yeah, it's for Loki. Yes, that's
I
it.
can have 4
Is that
minutes
it?
and I'm hyped for
Are you making fun
10
of me?
days.
No, I would never make fun of you talking about for Loki.
Thank you. Oh, I've watched Avatar.
I'm for Thor.
Avatar.
So all right. Before we have to get into our topics of board
Did you
games,
know there are more card deck combinations than what? Because usually when I start saying this, I will say what the answer is. And you're like, oh, yeah, I knew that.
more card?
There are more. So in a deck of 52 cards,
Yes.
there are more combinations. What did I just say? Combinations?
Yeah, I was
There are
wondering.
more combinations in a deck of cards than there are what?
People.
Well, that's true.
Okay, so I was right. Next question.
Atoms on Earth.
That's not right. That's not right.
You're messing with math.
I'm saying that's not right.
I'm reading this from bestlife.com.
I'm calling
Do
you
you
out.
think-
And then-
BestLife.com.
There are more card deck combinations than there are atoms on Earth. Don't blame your bad hand at the poker table on a stroke of bad luck. It's really just a matter of math. Seeing as there's more ways to arrange a deck of cards than there are total atoms on Earth.
Okay.
It says if a deck of cards is shuffled properly, there's a high chance that it comes out in an arrangement never existed before. 52 cards. So I guess it's 52 squared, right? So 52 times itself? I don't know what I'm saying.
I'm looking this up.
You're looking, but I'm telling you.
No, it's just that's impossible.
It says-
sorry, no.
You don't know.
It's
You're
just-
just
it's-
going off what Jerry said.
No, it's just not.
It's 52
if we think,
combinations.
If we think about the
No,
atoms
hold
in
on.
the entire world
Listen.
compared to a deck of cards.
No atoms on Earth.
Oh.
Oh, on Earth.
Wow.
This says because, all right, you take a 4-digit number. How many combinations can you make out of that?
I'm not even paying attention to your question. I'm
Exactly. So a 4-digit combination, you go 000, 0001, 0002, 00. I mean, right?
not- okay.
Imagine doing all that all the way up with all those numbers. So you get to 00009, then you go to 0010. So then, I mean, there's all those combinations. Now do that with 52 numbers.
This has been confirmed.
Bleh.
Okay. Thank you, BestLife.com.
Is that not mind blowing?
I'm not boggled.
Atoms on Earth.
Earth.
That's crazy.
Ah.
So that's why poker is really a game of percentages, but yet skill. Because if you know what's out there, there's a lot of what was that word?
Permeations.
It says-
Permeations.
it says-
That's when you get a
it
bad
says
perm.
permutations.
Permutations. That's what I said.
How many different ways can you put a pack of cards in order? It's going down a road I don't really care to
Let's
go
not
through.
worry about that. Are we on the eve of moving on? Get it?
More than
Atoms.
Did you know?
Eve. I'm on fire. Thank you, sir. That was for free. Go ahead.
More than half of Shakespeare's characters do what?
Die
How?
violently,
In the same way.
like poisoned or stabbed.
Correct. It says when the Guardian broke down data, they found that the majority of fatalities were due to stabbings.
Everybody gets stabbed. But then again, they didn't have Glocks back then.
The second most common was being poisoned.
Didn't drive
Very
by.
good.
Didn't drive by. Take that, Othello.
What's your favorite Shakespeare play?
I love Hamlet.
Love Hamlet.
I had
Is that like Love Actually?
Hamlet. I love Hamlet.
Oh! I thought that was like the comedic version.
Love Hamlet. Yes. Why don't you come over to my Love Hamlet? It's this little
I
inn
like Love Hamlet.
back in the woods. My Love Hamlet. No, it's a Hamlet.
Hamlet?
Yes, there are several. Like King Lear has.
Does it have a happy ending?
No, none of them do. They all die. But Hamlet is like. There's been movies made about it. Several different ones that have been acted even here recently. They're great. They still do plays on Hamlet. Hamlet's like was one of the
Which one's done more, Hamlet or Macbeth?
Ooh, Macbeth had. I'd say Hamlet. Don't quote me on that. But Macbeth.
I assure you I won't.
Macbeth has several big time actors have done plays with Macbeth, but Hamlet's the one that everybody wants.
Isn't Lion King based on
Hamlet.
Hamlet?
Sons of Anarchy. It's Hamlet. Just about everything is based on Hamlet.
Why is that? What's the basis? Tell me. What's the foundation?
Okay, the foundation is this
Family and power, royal
family and power. The dad has just died. He was king, and now this other dude has married the queen. Like I think it was the uncle,
Weird.
so it's like weird stuff going on. And so the kid comes home.
Weren't you my daddy's brother? Oh, now you're my daddy?
So, so Hamlet comes home and he's like,
Incestuous up. Get me a beer.
"That's not incestuous.
What?
They're brothers. They've married."
That's right.
Yes,
That's
okay.
right. But if they had a kid,
This is
that's my brother / cousin.
yeah, okay. All right, that'd be weird.
Okay.
So anyway, so Hamlet like comes home and he's like, something smells bad in Denmark. Something's rotten in Denmark. Something's going on.
Bacon.
And so he has a dream that probably wasn't a dream, depends on how you interpret the play, of his father's ghost. And he's like, homeboy
Is
poison.
Hamlet the son?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like Homeboy or Mel Gibson or David Tennant, depending on which show you watch. And he's like, this guy poisoned me, and he's trying to take over the throne. So
Who poisoned who?
The uncle. He killed the king and married the queen.
To slide in there, to slide into her DMs.
Yeah, that's right. So there you go.
The direct monarchy.
Oh, that was good. Oh, excuse me for a minute. This episode brought to you by Proper 12.
Oh, snap, as always.
The cheapest whiskey that we like. So Hamlet's all like, I need to get back at this dude. And then everybody tries to kill each other, and it's just very sad.
But it's like tragedy is a comedy. So what's his comedy?
What's comical about it? Okay, so...
not comical about Hamlet. But, I mean, I guess, okay, go ahead.
Well, I mean, there's nothing...
But doesn't he make comedy? Didn't Shakespeare write comedies?
Yes, he did write comedies. Like
what's like the most famous comedy?
Oh, Midsummer Night's Dream, I think, was somewhat, if I'm not mistaken.
A whole lot of about nothing
they're
or something?
Comedy,
What you do about nothing?
Their comedy...
Is that a comedy?
Yeah, but I don't think that was Shakespeare, was it?
What you do about nothing?
It was it?
Oh,
I'm thinking about the importance of being earnest. That was Oscar Wilde, which that was hilarious. That is a good example of Renaissance.
that was by Jim Varney.
No, it wasn't. The importance of
Vern.
No, Ernest P. World. No, I'm talking about the importance of being earnest. That's a great comedy. Why are we talking about this?
Much because we were talking about Shakespeare. Much Ado About Nothing, comedy by William Shakespeare.
Because our board game that we're going to talk about has to do with
thought to have been written in 1598. Good Lord, that's so long ago. Would you have liked to live during that time?
No, the plague, Spanish influenza, and all that jazz. Well, no, that wasn't until 1920 was the Spanish flu. But yeah,
I think I would.
What would you do?
I mean, I'm sure I'd just be like a blacksmith.
Like the village idiot type. I'm a jester. Just go around. It was like, what?
Zoinka, zoinka.
I watched, because we're going to be reviewing Masters of Renaissance here, since we're talking about things of all Renaissance. I recently watched on YouTube, it's amazing, these people who do realistic sword fighting. And so what you always picture in all your movies are, knights wearing this armor and they're swinging their swords and so forth.
Right.
It's not depicted correctly. And so these guys have basically studied ancient warfare, and they depict the tactics and the methods used in hand-to-hand combat and sword fighting that would have been used in the medieval times. And it is amazing. Like, you do not realize it's something I had never seen. It just,
like what? Explain.
Okay, so like the way, first off, how do you stab somebody if you're a knight and you're in full armor? How do you stab another knight?
You poke him with a sword.
How?
Like straight forward out.
You would mainly go...
Nothing.
Oh, he's got armor.
Yeah, duh.
So you go at the joints.
Or the visor.
The visor.
How do you stab somebody through a visor that's just,
Very precisely.
Very precisely. And so it was demonstrating the methods and how they would hold their swords and what they would do.
So how would they do it?
One that kind of surprised me was like they wore these gloves that
Nintendo Power Gloves.
basically looked like Nintendo Power Gloves, so that their hands wouldn't be cut by their own sword, so that they could grip the sword. So a lot of times they were fighting with both hands on the sword to steady it. And there were times where they would like parry and then thrust like you would like a rifle with a bayonet.
Ouch.
And the precision that they would, it's just interesting. They used a lot of, I don't want to call like jiu-jitsu moves on it, but methods that would knock their opponent on the ground, so then they could get at them with their weak spot. So it looked like these two big armored turtles fighting each other. You have to Google that and like
what
YouTube
is it?
that. It's
I've done forgot what you were
I'll
talking
find
about.
it. I'll show you the video here in a little bit.
Okay.
It's great. Makes me want to sword fight.
No.
But I would die.
Hard pass.
I want to be a bard. And I would have a
Just
tavern.
sing songs and dance.
I'd have a tavern. It would be called No Holds Barred. And I would sit there and I'd play my songs and sing to people, and we would drink, and then that would be it. That's what I would do in the Renaissance.
Oh, God.
My favorite book.
Enrique would die at childbirth. Because you're weak and your bloodline is weak.
Oh,
that's how it is.
He's really coming at you,
I'm
Enrique.
sorry, Enrique.
Defend yourself, son.
It's fine.
Oh, okay.
See?
Well,
Signs of a weak bloodline.
it's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Bubonic plague. Rats.
The blue bonnet plague.
The blue bonnet?
You sniffing too many blue bonnets.
No, next topic, please.
That pollen gets in your nose. Start sneezing. You die.
B, moving on, please.
The blue bonnet plague. Did you know?
Okay, did I know what?
All of the water on Earth would form a ball that's 860 miles wide.
Wow.
That's one big drop of water.
Didn't know that.
It's like one big water balloon. Earth is basically one big water. It's the astronomical water balloon of the universe.
Pretty much. It's all water. Except for that.
71% of the surface.
Yeah, like water world.
But then you go beneath the surface, you got magma.
I don't like
The
magma.
core.
I don't like
Remember the core? What are you doing? You're on your phone.
I'm looking up things.
You're looking
What
up
type of things?
how long it would take you to get from the surface to the core. Hillary Swank knows.
Yeah, you would die.
Hillary Swank?
Did you see that movie?
No.
Yes, I saw that movie.
The core?
The core with the guy that I like that's always Stanley Tucci. He
Yes.
was the bad guy in it. He always had that recorder. Yeah.
That was a terrible
It
movie.
was a terrible movie.
Very bad. That may have ended her career. What has she been in
Hillary
since?
Swank? She's been in stuff. It did stop Stanley Tucci.
Well,
Nothing
Stanley Tucci's a gem.
Nothing stops the Tucci.
The New York Times ran a typo every day for more than 100 years.
Shame. Shame.
It says that I don't know. I don't care. Moving past that fact.
None of your banter is very good. The banter quality has gone down.
There are polka dotted zebras.
Yeah. Oh, what do they call them?
Drop that.
Polka dotted
Polka
zebras.
dotted zebras. Do you know why zebras are striped like that?
Because stripes?
Why?
I don't know. Stripes?
What
They earn
is-
them in the military.
No. What? What is the advantage they have for being striped that way?
For being striped,
I would say it would have been used for some type of
it's
candle.
a genetic mutation called pseudomelanism. No, that's the polka dots.
It helps when they're in a group. You can't hardly tell them apart, so you don't know if there's 4 or 5 of them or 40 or 50 of them. So
Oh.
animals that have problems with certain
Like
colors.
colorblind,
Yeah,
like cats.
you can't tell how many there are. So if you got 2 or 3 of them running together, it looks like a herd.
Interesting.
I heard that.
I heard that too. Moving on, can we now move on to our topic? No, not our topic. We want to talk about the game. We want to talk about topic.
There's only one continent without grasslands.
Antarctica.
How did you know?
I just well, you looked at me like you wanted me to say something.
Well, I mean, it's supposed to be like mind blowing, but that would be my first guess as well.
You know, after like 80 episodes of this show, the banter has really gone downhill. We're running out
How
of
dare you?
fighting things.
I'm bringing things that people have never heard before.
Yeah,
sure.
which they can
Antarctica has
basically
no
look up on the
grasslands.
internet.
How does that make you feel?
Makes me feel pretty good. Sorry for those emperor penguins. Anyways,
The oldest surviving banknotes are from how long ago do you think banknotes have
a
lasted?
banknote, so it'd be somewhere from like where they invented banking, so perhaps an Arab country, so Turkey. So I'm going to say they're over 500 years old, 1500s.
Older.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
But you're on the right path.
So like 1000 CE.
Well, you kind of went too far. Trading goods and services for currencies, a system that's existed around the world for thousands of years, have the oldest surviving banknotes are the... Okay, sorry. Excuse my language pronunciation. Are the Daming, Tongxing, Bao Chao, Great Ming circulating treasure note from China, which were initially printed between 1368 and 1398. When the value of the money crashed, the banknotes were simply stashed. But yeah, that's a rhyme.
They
When the
spit.
value of the money crashed, banknotes are stashed.
That's not a good rap.
I didn't say it was a rap.
That's
Well,
like the
whatever
whatever
he
he
Dave
did, it was
Matthews bands of rappers.
poorly
Hey,
executed.
don't come at me abashed.
Let's just move on. This banter has just fallen apart.
Managed to, according to Guinness World Records. That's Guinness.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's
to all
not
of
just
our
a drink,
listeners.
you know.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for all our listeners. The banter on this
Why are you
episode.
apologizing?
Because they
For
feel
the
it.
amazing facts I bring to this, courtesy of bestlife.com.
Well,
How about-
Gabby,
I'll tell you what. How about next episode?
I'm an embedded reporter for bestlife.com.
How about next episode? I'll do the banter. I'll bring the topics. Okay, I'm going to give you a break. You deserve a break. You deserve this.
I worked hard.
You've worked hard.
I hope you know that.
I know you know that.
right.
I know you know this. I appreciate this. But you
Wait,
have
what?
Yeah, I appreciate
I'm glad
it.
I got that recorded.
But you need to get to
That
the
will never
bench.
happen
You need to sit
again.
down. You need to sit yourself down.
I need to retire.
Take a breather. Take a breather. Go out on top. That's what I'm saying. All right. Let's talk about Masters of Renaissance. We're not talking about ourselves. We're talking about the board game, or actually the card game iteration from Cranio Games of Lorenzo El Magnifico. We talked about this a few months back because we played it at BGG 2019. I believe one Gabi Moraga said that it was his favorite game at the con. If I'm not
con?
Of
Yes,
the
it
con.
was.
Of the con. This is a 1 to 4 player game. It's very quick. Plays less than an hour.
The solo is apparently like almost like a aggressive variant, like the aggressive variant of viticulture, where you have to stay ahead of Mr. Viti. Well, in this one, you have to stay ahead of the faith track and the purchasing of the cards.
May I take a moment and describe the mechanisms to
You
the
may
listeners?
go ahead.
Thank you, sir. So, in this game, you're basically buying cards from a tableau. There are level 1, 2, and 3 cards. You have to buy level 1 cards first. You buy level 2 cards, stack it on level 1. Very simple. You have 3 slots on your player board, so only 3 spots to play those 3 stacks of cards. You utilize this very weird way of getting resources. I don't even know what you call that marble rack. We're going to call it the marble rack. That sounds good. But
They call it the marketplace.
okay, they call it the marketplace, but that's deceiving. You have these 3 rows of 3 or 4 rows of 3 rows, 4 columns of marbles.
Yes.
Of various colors. You select which row or column you want, and the colors of the marbles dictate what kind of resources you get. The blue ones are shields, which is your military. Red is faith. Yellow is gold, such and such.
That's all very abstract.
When you pick which ones you want, you then take the other marble that's outside the rack, you push it into that row or column, and it kicks out the other marble, and down it goes. So you're randomizing each little row or column for which resources you're going to get. It's very confusing, but why is that important? Because on your player board, you can only hold certain amounts and certain types of resources on your board. The way I have it set up, you can hold 1 of one type, 2 of one type, 3 of one type in this little holding area, and you use those resources to run your engine. And your engine is basically your cards. Those cards do very simple things of turning this item into that item. I'm giving you more things which you can then store in your storehouse. Your storehouse is the unlimited supply of all the resources that you created. You use the resources from your storehouse to buy more cards, etc., etc. You do that until you have somebody reaches 7 cards or the end of the faith track. And it's good. It's really good. As a matter of fact, I love Lorenzo El Magnifico. I don't think, in my opinion, that
IMO.
that Masters of Renaissance replaces Lorenzo for me. Here's why. Lorenzo El Magnifico.
Can I tell you why I think so first?
Why you think it replaces it?
No.
Oh,
While it does not.
okay. You tell me, sir.
I will tell you. Because if I go after you, you're just like, oh, no, you just think that's what I said.
No.
I know how you operate.
You have your own thoughts. You're your own man.
I know how you operate.
You be you.
While this game is very, very smooth, very streamlined,
Just like me. Go ahead.
Lorenzo El Magnifico, to me, is much more, well, first of all, it's a worker placement, but it is a worker placement of the highest degree. Because as soon as you go to one of those towers in Lorenzo, I cannot go there without paying a price. And once I go there, I cannot go there again. Unless I use my nude meeple. So once I do that, then that causes me stress.
Very much.
Lorenzo is the game, the regular board game, is much more interactive. It's much more worker placement. It's much more stressful. And like, I need to get here. I need to go to this tower. Dang it. So-and-so has gone there. Now I can go there, but I had to pay extra to go there. And once I go there, I can't go again unless I have saved that meeple that's not of the color I already have.
Correct.
If you've played the game, you know what I'm talking about. This game is not near as tight.
Mm-mm.
It's very open. It's very wide open. It's very smooth. It's very fluid. I like it a lot. But upon first playing it again, I was saying, I'm going to play this and wonder if it replaces Lorenzo. It does not. It's not even close to me upon further thought, because the original board game is so much crunchier.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to use that term because everybody uses it nowadays. But like, I really have to think about what I'm doing. There's so many times in Lorenzo I have made a move and realized I cannot make that move.
Right.
Because there's so many things you can't do in Lorenzo.
Lorenzo's
it's very punishing.
It's very punishing.
Very restrictive.
Very restrictive. And like my first wife.
Why?
And it
I like Lorenzo and Magnifico a lot. This does not replace that. I like it a lot.
Why did you leave me, Sharon?
Sharon.
Go ahead.
But Lorenzo for me still remains as well as this game. But Lorenzo remains a top for me.
Really?
Yes.
Yes. Lorenzo is definitely a meteor
I
game.
will turn off my mic and listen.
Wow. Lorenzo is definitely a meteor game. It is an engine building worker placement game that is not forgiving. It is a game that really, when you're done playing it, you feel tired. You have had to make some solid decisions, and it is a heavy game, not in terms of its mechanics, but in what you have. It's heavy because you have to pay attention to what you're doing. You have to plan ahead. You have to be able to interact with the other players and be ready to devise another plan. You can't plan too far ahead because you basically plan for your turn. So it's kind of an AP-inducing game. But Lorenzo is an awesome, awesome game. Masters of Renaissance doesn't replace it for me. But Masters of Renaissance does something that I have never seen. Well, let me say this. There's only a few games for which I've seen this happen. Very few. Where they have taken a card game or a dice game and they have captured the feel of a much larger game and given you a lighter version of it. For instance, we love Coal Baron. Coal Baron, the card game's terrible.
Correct.
We do not like it.
Correct.
We both enjoyed Castles of Burgundy. And then you went out and bought the card game and loved that card game.
Correct.
And you were saying this replaces Castles of Burgundy. Castles of Burgundy, it's great. It's lighter. It's quicker. I'd much rather play this.
It gave me the same feel as Castles of Burgundy.
And I must say that I highly endorse. If you like Castles of Burgundy, or you're looking for something lighter with a solo, yes, the card game is excellent. I haven't played the dice game, although we have it.
I have. It does not.
It does not. Okay. Masters of Renaissance captures the essence of Lorenzo so well, but it dilutes it. There isn't any real player interaction in terms of, you just bought the card I was going to buy, or you've moved up the faith track quicker, so it's cost me points.
Or you got my marbles.
That's it. That's the main
Those
interaction.
are the three.
Yeah, that's it. You accidentally you use what I was going to use. It's very solitaire. You're planning ahead. It's very calming. Like, it's one of those games that as soon as we're done playing it, I want to play it again. I can play it multiple times in a row. I like how the cards synergize. I like how I can look out and make a plan. And it's basically just a very...
If you like synergy, you might play Maracaibo. Those cards synergize, I hear.
They do synergize. But, man, Masters of Renaissance, I have never seen a game where they have taken the base game and made such a light, refreshing, quick version of it that gives you the same feel.
Well, to me, it's like it does all of that, but it's so completely different at the same time.
It is completely
It's weird.
Yeah, it takes out. So anytime that
It's weird.
anytime you run a game down like this, that you dilute it. So I'll say, you'll lose something. And what Masters of Renaissance did is it took out the complication of Law of the Rules. So you've cut down the rules. So it's a little bit simpler to learn. It cut down on the engine building. It's very simple. You just got 3 cards. You use those cards. It cut down on the player interaction because, like you said, one of the things that I've heard many people gripe about Lorenzo is You go to make a turn and you realize, I can't afford to do it. I can't pay for the card.
It's extremely expensive.
Or somebody's there and they've blocked me and I have to pay $3.
People gripe about that?
People gripe about that.
That's the best part.
That's the best part. But a lot of people don't like that. And so that's why I think Masters of Renaissance is an awesome game. Even if you...
I enjoy being punished that way.
If you played Lorenzo and it was just too crunchy for you, then definitely pick up Masters of Renaissance. If you love Lorenzo and you're like me, you don't really like filler games. I don't like games that are too light. But my idea of a filler game is a game that's just slightly a step down from a medium weight game, but it's under an hour. Give me 30, 45 minutes. Definitely Masters of Renaissance. I love this game. This is probably one of my favorite. I don't want to call it a filler game because it's a little longer, a little heavier.
It's not a filler. I mean, this is a legit game.
But to me,
it's super streamlined version.
It's super streamlined. You can crank it out. It benefits from multiple plays. I love that dice, that marble mechanism. I love the little bitty rules that kind of restrict you. This game is self-restricting rather than player restricting. When I say a player restricting, I mean another player gets in your way and thus it keeps you from doing something. This is self-restricting because you can only sort your resources in a certain way. You have to buy.
You can source your own in them.
Yes. My Sharona. What did you say?
I don't know.
You're just making terms.
I'm just talking about Little Women.
I just love this game.
As the host. So Sharonan references.
It's great.
Enrique, what did you think?
Is he even here?
He's chewing on his nails.
Not.
Okay, spit that nail out. Okay.
But Resonance?
Yes, Masters of Renaissance. Residents of Masters.
Already a huge mistake.
This is always we advise.
It's always a huge mistake when I talk on the mic.
I'm going to let you talk.
D-res. Don't D-res. That's what they do in Tron. You get D-res, you're out.
That's when they hit you with that flying frisbee.
No, wait, that's Tron. No, that's Terminator.
That's Daft Punk.
Punk. Yes. All right, Master of Renaissance. Go, Enrique.
We're the Daft Punks of board game podcasting. Go ahead.
You're daft. I'm the punk.
No. Are they British? Daft is a British term.
What's the old boy?
You're very daft. Speaking of daft,
go, Enrique.
It's Daffer Dan. Go ahead, sir.
But no, this is a wonderful game.
Wow.
It's a wonderful
high praise
He's
from a sleeveless
the
man.
boxes. He says
as
that.
you all said, this game is not...
Now they've all the parts have spilled out.
It'll be fine. This game is not as punishing as Lorenzo. It's a little bit more forgiving, but not as punishing. And
I'm very forgiving.
For me,
Jerry's very punishing.
I play games that are... I love...
It's like playing with me and Enrique, me and Jerry.
Yeah, basically. Where they just... It's just like people. You like being punished. Basically.
It's like playing with Jerry and me. It's very forgiving, but also punishing.
But punishing games are more... They're
like
more
being punished.
exciting, but people just don't like them as well. So this... If you want a lighter game, this would be a recommended alternative to Lorenzo.
Well
do you
said.
Do you like Lorenzo over that, or do you think they're two different things, or what?
For me, I want...
For you. Yes, I asked you the question.
But no.
What I ask? Which one do you prefer? Well, for me?
He's being considered.
I always just say that as like a conversation starter for me.
That's a word whisker. It's just a way to fill the void as you think.
Yeah.
Instead of going,
we.
But I always talk nonsense.
Jerry just spouts random things. What? All right, go ahead.
But no, I would rather play Lorenzo because it's just more...
You'd rather play Lorenzo, the OG.
Yeah.
Than this game. Okay, so you do prefer that over this, but you do like this game.
It provides more of a challenge.
It does.
It's more interactive, as you both have well said.
Mm-hmm.
Well, very well. Who said it more well?
Orwell.
Orson
Welles. Go ahead.
But no, as I said before, you both said it extremely well.
Equally well.
Equally well.
We are both equal in our
wellness. I need a refill. Go ahead.
All right.
If you haven't figured it out, I love Masters of Renaissance, and you should too.
Masters of Renaissance is an excellent game. It does not replace Lorenzo. Yeah, dude, quit banging the microphone,
I'm trying
Jerry.
to-
That's why you don't give him anything. Yeah, you do.
This is how I'm going to get your attention from
I
now
try
on.
to get him loose. Yes, Jerry, go ahead.
I have a toast. No,
Toast, burnt toast.
I'd like to. What was I going to say?
I don't know. I was speaking. I said, Master Renaissance, great game. Love it. Board Game Snobs approved. Sir Jerry.
Approved.
Okay.
Very much approved.
Sir,
Sir Knight.
Or no, Sir Nugget.
Sir Nugget. Sir Nugget.
that serves you well.
Oh, the sleepless night, Sir Nugget.
So, are there any other card game renditions you like of regular games?
Ooh. Card game renditions.
Card or dice? You mentioned Castles of Burgundy.
Mm-hmm.
The dice game is much quicker. It's not. It doesn't. It does a lot of the same things, and that you're filling out these spots to get these benefits. But the card game really gives me the feel of the actual game. The dice game to me feels like a dice game. It's fine. It does a fine job. It's a super quick game. I've soloed it many, many times. It's okay.
Now we have it. We have not got to play it, but Gold West recently got a reprint, which we love. But we got Gold West, the dice game.
I haven't played it. Have you played it?
We have not. It's a 3-player game mainly. That's one that I was interested in playing to kind of compare because it looked like it might have the same flavor of Gold West. People don't want to admit this, but it's an easy money grab for a company to have a great game and then put out an alternate variant of it, put out a dice game, a card game, something of that nature.
Well, they have those for Catan.
Right. And so it's easy for them to say, okay, this is the same game. You just roll dice. You just do this. And a lot of times those iterations, I would go on record to say about 75% of the times those aren't worth having. Like they're just not that good. It's hard.
The Colbert and the Great Card Game, strangely enough, got several good reviews. I played it. I found it atrocious. It was not near as intriguing as the board game Colbert.
Yeah. It's just, it's hard for there to be. Okay, here's one that comes to mind. It was a dice game iteration of Nations. Now, I greatly enjoy. I think Nations is one of the best games.
Very good.
Within
Yes, when you take that to Cabin
and we're going to take it to Cabin Con. One of the best games ever made in terms of civilization card games. So they made Nations the dice game. I was shocked by how well done it was. The biggest downfall it had, lack of replayability. There was a expansion that came out that was hard to get, more than the base game, that added that variability. But unfortunately, we never got it. We ended up realizing we don't play fillers that much, so why have it? But I really enjoyed Nations, the dice game.
I did too.
Got rid of it, though, because we just, like I said, we don't do fillers at all.
No.
Not really. But yeah, a pet peeve of mine is when they take a game and they make a 2-player variant of it. Like I'm looking at U7 Wonders, like 7 Wonders Duels, or Yokohama. I haven't played Yokohama. There, I think the Networks is even having a dueling networks.
Oh.
Now I will say this: I haven't played the 2-player variation of it. The Networks is a highly underrated game by Gil Hova. It's a great game. We've talked about it on a previous podcast. So there's a lot of games, and watch for it. I mean, any big game is always ripe for a dice or card game. You are not gonna have to hold your breath long before you have Terraforming Mars, the dice game. I mean, or the card game, or it is the card game already. But they always come up with. I mean, do you know how they are?
Terraforming Mars, the extra card game.
Yeah, Terraforming Mars. Buy this game. It has all the cards that are in Terraforming Mars, except there's no board, which is basically the main game, anyways. Yeah. So. That's kind of my thing. It's hard to capture
the feel.
And Renaissance does this. And it's from our boys there at Cranio.
Usually when they do that, they lose something that negates the effectiveness of purchasing the game. And Nestor Mangan, I don't know him. He's a newer one. No, he's in there. He's usually in most of them.
So there you go. There you go. Buy it.
Oh, don't say buy it. Don't feed into the consumerism of this
Fear of
hobby that
missing
already
out.
exists.
You're not going to get to play it, and you're not going to be
That
cool
was,
as us.
I was thinking about that. I was thinking about
you have
this.
to have this game.
You literally just
If you don't have it,
literally just segued into something I've been thinking about here
nobody
lately.
will love you if you don't buy this game.
No one will like you. as a
Nobody will
friend.
like you.
Oh, he
They'll be
doesn't
like, "Do you
he
have
doesn't-
Masters of Renaissance?"
No,
No, I don't.
Oh, well, the old one, the new one, boy.
Well, then you might as well. Are you poor?
I used to rank things by like buy it,
You peasant. Oh, go ahead. Are you speaking?
but I don't like the consumerism, the FOMO that goes with this hobby,
You don't like the FOMO?
especially with reviewers, because everybody like, yeah, no, we loved it. We think you should buy it. You don't tell me what to do.
You don't tell me what to think.
I'm not going to buy this game just because you like it.
I don't like it.
I would suggest play it.
Play it.
Go to a cafe, a coffee shop, a gaming cafe that has it. Play it. Go to a con that has it. Play it.
I live in Oklahoma. We don't have cafes.
Go
we
to
don't
Dallas.
have places
The
like
friends
that.
and foe.
We don't even have women there, according to Enrique.
According to Enrique,
No, 50% of the women.
Oh, Enrique,
are
this
there.
bitch, shut up.
you offended so
You've
many
offended
people.
so many women.
But I really, I've thought
Well,
about that. I'm like,
And I'm
because
an ally.
reviewers
I
really,
like women. Except you, Susan.
Susan,
Right, Susan.
how
Where did
dare you?
Susan
B.
come from?
Anthony? Why did you leave? She's on the dollar from England.
I love you.
What do you have against Susan B?
Huh?
Who?
She reminds me of Cardi B. And I will tell you this. I'll say this right now. That's the sound my phone makes. Okay? That's my ringtone. is Cardi
You've
B.
taken me off of my well thought out thing I was going
Fear
to
of
say.
missing out?
No,
Okay. You don't like commercialism?
you're not voicing into the microphone.
You don't like commercialism?
Reviewers basically power this hobby into you buying
And
stuff.
it's a good thing that we're not reviewers.
We are not,
We are
even though it says,
unsponsored.
even though literally on our
Unadulterated.
logo it says critically harsh reviews.
What does? We have a what?
It's on something, our motto or whatever that's on our token when we first started this thing.
Well, that's when we thought we were going to be important.
But you listen to a bunch of reviews and like, oh, this game's great. This game's great. If you want it, you should buy it.
I hate reviewers.
Why?
Because I don't want to be told
Don't
what
push
to buy.
me, bro.
Oh.
I
Don't
really
tell me what
that. I
to
don't want
do.
Tell me what to do.
You ain't
What
the
I
boss of me.
like are people who just
Yat bomb. You ain't the boss of me.
yeah, you just talk
Yat
about
bomb.
Yat.
YATBOM. That's my new acronym.
what? Yat bomb?
Yat bomb.
I'm sorry, did you
You
say
ain't the
acronym?
boss of me.
Yat bomb?
Yat bomb.
Yat bomb?
That's what I just said.
Okay. I'll have to recall that because I won't remember that.
I text it frequently to my friends.
You've never texted me that.
I text it frequently.
Maybe I am the
I
boss of
did.
you.
That's-
You did not text me
That's
that?
because you're my boss.
Oh, okay, I didn't understand.
All right, so that's it for this podcast.
YOLO.
We have discussed nothing of importance except Masters of Renaissance.
I've no YOLO does not. When I text it, it means you ought love often.
You ought.
Yes,
You
love
ought love often. Oh,
I'm
that's
surprised you
sweet.
say
That's why I
you
was-
love someone.
Shut up. Just shut up.
Jerry's angry. He's been drinking.
This is why you don't give me.
All right, that's going to
Well,
do it for this
first the banter
podcast.
was
We've
subpar.
discussed Masters of Renaissance.
And next,
I'm
thing I know,
Gabi.
we're all
Jerry's
talking
the
about
one that won't be quiet over there.
Shakespeare.
Jerry's angry. This is Enrique.
And what do you know about
This is Gabi?
Shakespeare?
No, you're supposed to say hey or bye.
You're messing this
Yeah,
up.
and you said this
Okay,
is
bye.
Enrique.
Even part of
Thank you for listening to the Board Game Snobs. Stay classy.